The Kenya National Union of Teachers KNUT Secretary General Wilson Sossion has resigned. Speaking during a press conference at the Windsor Golf Club, Sossion reminisced his former days and achievements, pointing out that he arrived at the decision to resign after consultations with his fellow trade unionist. Here's Rachel Duarte with more.
Every beginning has an end. For Wilson Sossion, today was his last day in office as the Kenya National Union of Teachers Secretary General. During a press briefing, Sossion said that it was his time to leave office, stating that he would continue serving Kenyans in other capacities and for the remaining period in the 12th Parliament.
And now, I have today decided that in the interest of Kenya National Union of Teachers continuity, its membership, myself, I hereby today, the 25th day of June 2021, bow out of Kenya National Union of Teachers leadership.
The former Secretary General reminisced his achievements in the trade union, with his most outstanding moment being that of the collective bargain agreement in September 2015.
During Kibaki's tenure as president, there was respect and consideration of labor rights for workers, unlike today's, where a section of government regards unions as enemies of the state. And even as we speak here, the labor movement is under attack.
Furthermore, he pointed out that KNUT's success story had not gone without hitches, with enemies who stated Sossion was a threat to state security.
And for those who will be elected on Saturday, the 26th, that is tomorrow, the nominations have been done and elections will be done tomorrow. And it is in-person voting. I wish you well, and I urge you never to be compromised by any authority and don't be converted into tools of commerce.
Additionally, he told those who would be elected tomorrow not to allow any compromise while serving under KNUT leadership. With Wilson Sossion now out of the picture, a man who has been for decades in the Kenya National Union of Teachers, the question still remains on whether tomorrow will be a successful, fair election. Rachel Duarte, Switch TV.
Thank you, Rachel Duarte. Kenya National Union of Teachers stakeholders support Wilson Sosion's move to exit the union as Secretary General. In a discussion held earlier today by Hadia Mosiwa with education expert and KNUT employee Peter Amunga, Amunga says that the long-awaited move has left teachers solely on their own.
Now, after a series of dispute and divided loyalty in the Kenya National Union of Teachers, the Secretary General Wilson Sossion has finally opted out of the KNUT position just a few days, or just a day before the elections. Now, that brings us to this discussion, and we're joined by Peter Amunga, who is an education expert. We're just going to be discussing what is next for KNUT and why now. Why now, Mr. Amunga? Welcome to Switch TV.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. What I can say is that I think Sossion has made the right move. The country has been going through a very hard time for trade unions, not just KNUT. All trade unions in this country, talk about the doctors' union, talking about the other unions that have been active, the nurses' unions, the university lecturers' unions. All these unions are on their deathbed because government is not remitting funds. Sossion's union, the Kenya National Union of Teachers, which I have worked for personally, has not received money from government as union dues from teachers for the last 3 years. And all the time the government has been telling people and teachers, get Sossion out and then we shall revive your union. It has been like a carrot and a stick. It's like blackmailing, you know. They don't want Sossion. So the reason why government has been against Sossion is his hard stand on a few things that the government has gotten wrong, like the CBC, curriculum-based, competence-based curriculum. So I tend to think Sossion has paid the price. The price was when he called out all these things to order, government got annoyed with him, they frustrated him. This union from 180,000 members in July 2019, today there are only 17,000 members in KNUT. Surely, even if you are the one, and they are saying that you are the person who is the problem, step out and let us see if somebody else can take over.
And speaking about stepping out, when he was giving the speech today saying that he's leaving KNUT, one of the things he pointed out was he wanted to focus on his parliamentary obligations, and he used to also represent teachers in the parliament. What happens now that he's no longer part of KNUT?
Well, you know, first of all, a unionist is still always a unionist. Sossion remains a trade unionist, a career, because he has been a Secretary General. It's the laws of this country. So he will continue to represent workers. So Sossion continues to be in Parliament, and I believe he'll do his work even much better now without the load he's carrying of KNUT. Personally, I came into KNUT because I really respected the way Sossion does his things. And as an employee of KNUT, I really supported his policies. But I also believed that Sossion was a bit hard when it comes to interpersonal relationships. My brother and my friend Wilson Sossion is not so much of a good team player, as much as he does a good job, but he's not very good when it comes to playing with his teammates. And so his teammates have been undermining him. Many of them have gone the other way. Many have fought him. Maybe some, even including me, have also pointed out that, you know, Sossion, my brother, you are wrong. And, you know, when he gets that information, he gets a bit hard, a bit edgy, and I think it has costed his relationship with his friends in the union.
From how you're putting it, Sossion was not playing officer friendly. And who do you think is going to be, you know, good for the task, right?
Collins Oyu now has what Sossion lacks in terms of working for officials. The reason why Sossion is leaving KNUT, one of the big reasons, and he's been fought with officials, is because he was more for the teacher than the officials. So Oyu now comes in more of a person to work for the people who work with him in KNUT headquarters and KNUT branches, and I don't think Oyu will do much for the teacher in the classroom. You teachers are on your own, and by what I'm saying is already being felt. Teachers are starting to feel that Sossion is the only voice for the last 10, 15 years that has been speaking about teachers. Without his voice, they are not seeing any other person who is going to speak on their behalf. If he wants to play a game with TSC and to be compromised and to bow, he will not have any problem with TSC. He'll be fed, he'll have money. This is Kenya. As long as his stomach is good, I don't think he'll have a problem. But now, if he tries and stand with teachers, then his goose is cooked. We'll have more cases, we'll have more, even we may have strikes, we may have issues, and the government again will fight him and remove him from the position.
Now, I think he has said it all. This is a blow to the teachers as Wilson Sossion leaves the seat as KNUT Secretary General, and this is only a day or a few hours to the election. And I think this is a really, really big and huge surprise that a lot of people did not expect. But we are about to see who is going to be fitting his shoes next, and if he's going to really take up the task and represent the teachers or represent his own interests.
Yes, it indeed comes as a huge surprise. Thank you, Hadia Mosiwa. The Kenya National Union of Teachers came to existence on 4th December 1957. This came as a solution for teachers on their grievances, especially on salary increment. Wilson Sossion has served at the union's helm as Secretary General for the last 8 years. Flora Limuki reports.
Since 1957, the union has had 6 Secretary Generals. Joseph Kioni served from 1958 to 1969, Ambrose Adea Dongo, 1970 to 2001, Francis Nganga, 2001 to 2008, Lawrence Majali, 2008 to 2010, David Okuto Siani served from 2010 to 2013, and Wilson Sossion served from 2013 to 2021. Wilson Sossion has been vocal in advocating for teachers' grievances, which have stood out during his tenure. During his period of serving, his greatest achievements were the formation of Salaries and Remuneration Act and collective bargaining agreement to advocate for harmonization of teacher salaries as well as minimize strikes. According to Peter Munga, an education expert, the best-serving Secretary General was Francis Nganga, followed by Wilson Sossion, and finally Ambrose Adea Adongo. He also emphasized that the leadership of trade unions is greatly dependent on the serving government.
If I was to rate in a rate of 1 to 10, first of all, Sossion will compete in the top 3. There'll be Francis Nganga, who served during the Kibaki time. Then I'll rate Sossion Wilson as the second best because of how you are served in very hard conditions under the Jubilee regime. But the best in all those times will remain the father of trade unionism in KNUT, Ambrose Adair Odongo. He is the father of KNUT. He has done well. Any teacher, what his salt will tell you, Ambrose served properly. He served hard times, but he managed to play both the team spirit with his officials and also play with the government of the day, which was the Nyayo government that time.
After serving for almost a decade, today marks the end of an era for Wilson Sossion as the Secretary General for KNUT, living at a time when trade unions in Kenya are trying to keep afloat with the current government. Flora Limuki, Switch TV.
Thank you, Flora Limuki.